And everything I do, I'm like, am I doing this for the love of the game or for money?
Love of what game?
My game, creation, creativity,
Okay.
channeling the ability to take complex things and make them simple and to help people win in life.
Because I like learning from you because you're actually doing it. You're not an agency.
My goal is to help people become the GC of their marketing, the general contractor. You don't need to know what buttons to click. I have never once logged into Facebook's ad manager. I teach timeless strategies for people to own their marketing and get control of it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Average Sucks Show. And I am beyond excited for this episode for a lot of reasons. Number one is if you are a business owner, if you are looking to up your marketing game, if you want to be inspired and at the same time laugh a lot and have a lot of fun, I'm about to introduce you to someone who's become a very, very dear friend. And the coolest part about this is what you're about to hear has been tested already as part of our business success GPS community. A good friend of mine that I met about, I'd say, earlier this year we met.
Yeah.
Right? Earlier this year. Good friend. Yeah. I move quickly with my friends. Adam Bensman, we met at Genius Network and we sat next to each other, started talking about life and business and it went like boom, 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 boom. It's like this and that. We connected over about 100 things. And one of the coolest things about it is we have a major, major desire both to understand people and make people's lives better. So Adam's background, you're going to learn here in a couple minutes, very, very successful as an operations officer for one of the larger roofing companies in the world. Super excited to share that with you. But on top of that, he found his passion for helping people, getting them to grow and showing them how to win in life. Coolest part, at the same time, he studied and understood marketing. So biggest passion is teaching entrepreneurs and business owners how to market their life and how to market their business. So if you want to up your game, become better at marketing, learn a lot of cool stuff and learn from a master, my man, Adam. Glad you're here, brother.
Dude,
Average Sucks
Show.
Thank
you for having me.
You like that intro?
What, that was a fantastic intro. And I just left Genius Network.
Yeah.
Came here.
A minute ago.
Literally a minute ago. I'm so
talked about aliens or something with my team.
Yeah. Well, aliens,
outer
body
body
experiences, the CIA, just minor little things.
That is our attempt to sound like a Joe Rogan show for about a minute.
I know. Right?
How did we do, right?
Yeah. How did we do?
How did we do? So super excited you're here. And one of the things you mentioned to me prior, like we were going over, you know, about your actual company name, physically, what I guess the IRS would call it right now. It's called the
Roofing and
Solar Reform Alliance.
Yeah.
And one of the things you're doing, which is really big right now, which most entrepreneurs are figuring out, is you're building the Adam brand.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about as well. So you've got your business rolling, but you're also smart enough to take advantage of what's going on socially, on social media and everything else going on. So what I want to do is catch on with you. A couple questions we get started is, have you, when did you start this entrepreneurial journey? Because you and I, when we met, it was like two crazy hyper entrepreneurs. You just shared your SAT, ACT experience, identical to mine a minute ago. Like
that's something.
Where did entrepreneurism come in for you? Like how did you start?
It actually started when I was 16.
Okay.
I started my first business, but not a real business.
What was it? It's a fake?
No, mobile. Well, it was.
Did it collect money?
Yeah, it collected money. When I say it was a fake business, it was a cash only business, not a registered business. I didn't have an insurance or anything.
IRS.
Oh yeah, of course. But I paid my fair share in taxes.
You were 16.
I was 16 years old. Is the statute of limitations over by that point?
I don't know, what are you, 36?
38.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
it's over.
So I started a mobile car detailing business. And at that point, this was...
Did you even have a car?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you had a car.
I had a car.
What kind of car did you have?
It was a Ford SVT Focus.
Ford Focus.
Yeah.
Green?
The SVT.
Was
no,
it green?
It wasn't green. It was black. It was a fun little car. We took it on the track and stuff. But I was obsessed with it. And my uncle had a car detailing business. And I'm 16 and I was like, you know what? I can make some real money here. And this is, I'm 38, 16, do the math. I was in the same math
22.
class 4 years in a row. So I don't know what year that
22.
was. 2002.
22 years ago.
Yeah. 22 years. Good Lord. So anyway,
It's the miracle mind.
I say, I'm going to start this car detailing business. So I start cold calling car dealerships to find out who they get their material from so I could buy wholesale product. And I finally found a dude and he's like, oh, I'll come by your shop. And I'm like, I don't have a shop. Can I meet you in a parking lot? So I literally met him in a parking lot and I put it all in the back of my car. I advertised on Craigslist and by word of mouth landed. My first client was like my dad's friend or something. And she loved it. And she's like, at this point, there was no mobile car detailing. So I was like, I'll come to your house.
Was it in Colorado?
No, I was in Illinois. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. And the main pain point then, because business is about solving problems. And I think a lot of people think, oh, I have a good idea. The world doesn't need new ideas. You need to think, what problems can I solve? And I saw a hole in the car detailing world. As a big car guy, still am. And people don't want to go drop your car off. You need to find someone to coordinate a ride with to leave for the day. So I was like, I'll be the guy that comes to you. And rich people have lots of cars. So I'll just get accounts and do their whole fleets at their home. So I started doing that. And I was
in high school.
Yeah, I was in high school, 16. I ran this from 16 till I was a little through college. And I was raking in money, dude. Like I was killing it. And I had a lot of fun with it. And I had accounts. This one dude didn't have he had a second house, but he purchased it for the garage and he kept his Ferrari there in the garage. So like, he'd be like, here's the garage code and the keys to the Ferrari. And another person had a fleet of cars. So I did that. And funny enough, what was it? It was not 60 minutes. I think it was one of those 60 Minutes or something that like documents kids with unique jobs. And they reached out to me and they're like, we found your unique business. You have a new job. Will you be on our show?
Like prior to the internet. Like just the lightest.
Yep.
There was dial-up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, about.
Not at the Google.
I don't even remember. I mean, Craigslist was around, so there had to be internet. So they reached out, they coordinated filming. So I had a film crew in my car the whole time. And the show didn't end up airing. And I still think I blew it because they're like, well, what do you want to make all this money for? And I was a gun guy. And I was like, I got this new, was it Benelli shotgun I want to get.
Benelli's nice.
And I'm like, they're probably looking for like these, like,
I want to save the planet.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want to buy a nice shotgun, man. So that was my first business. And then, but I've been working since I was 11. I wasn't even allowed to work legally, but I loved bikes. So I got a job at the bike shop. And I was in sales at 11 years old on the floor selling fitness helmets, bikes. So I was either.
They hired you or you just worked there?
No, they hired me.
Because I used to work at Sears for free. I just show up. My parents would leave me there. I'd sell TVs and shit.
I was working for $5 an hour under minimum wage. Yeah. And like, I was like 10 or 11 hour days. I'd ride my bike 2 miles. Loved it.
$50, $60.
And I spent every penny I had at the bike shop. But yeah. And then after that, I just burned out on doing the car stuff. It got boring. It was so boring. And I was like, the idea was cool, but I learned at that point I was still selling my time for money, even though it was good money. I was selling my time for money and I wasn't mentally stimulated at all. And I got really excited when it was a rain day because I could cancel all my work. And then I went down the path that people tell you, which is do what you're passionate about in life and you'll be happy and make money, which is the biggest bunch of bullshit that people will
What'd
feed
you go for?
So I got into natural medicine, which I don't regret to the slightest. But
natural medicine,
yeah, I was a butt flusher. Can I say that on the show?
Yeah, you can say butt flusher.
So for the reason I say that is most people don't know if I said a colon hydrotherapist. What's that?
Colonics.
Yeah, professional butt flusher.
You put like gallons of distilled water or saline in a tube. And they shoot out your colon and your
and we could get graphic on how it actually goes.
Because it's one tube in, one tube out.
That's all you need to know. Yeah. So I got during my undergrad in psychology, I went to this small little hippie school in Colorado called Naropa, which was founded by Allen Ginsberg, the Beat poet and exiled Buddhist monk. So it was like the furthest thing from school could get. I get into natural.
That and Benelli shotguns don't go in the same sentence.
No, I was a gun-toting redneck trapped in a hippie body at a meditation school. It was great. I get into this natural medicine modality. It changed my life, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this for others because, like you said in the intro, it's helping people. Yeah. And I helped people, and it helped me, and I loved it. And then I ended up at the New Mexico School of Natural Therapeutics, which is like the best school.
You do homeopathy too?
Learned homeopathy.
I have every Boreon bottle,
oh yeah,
little vial. I have the entire
You got the kit?
No, I don't have the kit. I have the cabinet.
The cabinet.
Like I have a walk-in homeopathic thing. Like you tell me one thing, stage fright, I got something for you.
Yeah.
I know it all too. Like I've memorized ADD, Cena. Does that make sense? Cafe Crudo. Does that make sense?
Your retention is even better than mine. I went to school for this stuff.
Okay, I just get excited. So, maybe I took it this morning.
It could be.
So you're doing homeopathy?
Yeah, did all that stuff. It was homeopathy, radionics. If you know what that is, you'd be like, this guy's freaking wacky.
You study Edgar Casey?
No.
You know what that is?
No.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah. Core synchronism, massage therapy, polarity therapy, reflexology, a lot of stuff. Go start my own practice, which is hysterical because you leave school and they're like, I'm going to go start a business and cure the world. I knew jack shit about business. And this was my first lesson in marketing, because I learned the most valuable lesson, that marketing is gasoline to a business. So if you look at your business as the highest performance, coolest car in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you have no gas, it doesn't run.
Nope.
And I had a Porsche 911 Turbo S, and I had no gas, which was a way to put my name out there and get clients. So I didn't make any money. I got one client, which can happen when you're lucky, and it didn't even cover my office expense, like to pay for rent. So I was like, shit. So I'm new out of school. I have to get a job at a massage therapy franchise, which won't be named. I was required to be on site for 6 hours a day, but I was only paid when I was booked. They were collecting near $100 a massage. I got paid 15. Not everyone tipped. So I had multiple days that I had an 8-hour shift. I had to required to be there early and then stay in case there's walk-ins, and I would make $30 in a day.
Wow.
So I was literally, I think my W-2 that year was like $19,600 and change. And my rent and utilities, I was living alone in Madison, Wisconsin. It was like $1,200. So I was living on $4.20 a day in groceries. Yes, I know this number. It's specific. It's about $30 a week. And Easter comes around. I can't afford, my family's split. I got half Jewish family, half Christian family, celebrate all the holidays. I'm in Wisconsin, they're in Illinois. I can't drive down. And my mom had no idea how broke I was. And she's like,
Were you embarrassed to tell her?
No, because I just about to tell you the part where I had to ask her for money.
Got it.
I'm like, she's like, are you coming to Easter? I was like, I can't. She's like, why not? I was like, I can't afford gas. She's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, Mom, I'm not making any money over
It was
here.
like $2 a gallon back then, right?
Yeah.
I've been there before.
Yeah. So then she flung me $20. And then I drove in, called her to say thanks. My stepdad gets on the phone. His name's Ron. My parents divorced later in life. I didn't really know much. I just knew Ron was in roofing. And Ron gets on. He's like, hey, Adam, if you want to make a change, you can make $100,000 a year selling roofs door to door. And I'm sitting here going, sounds terrible, Ron. It's door-to-door sales and it's freaking roofing. Are you joking? Like, I'm not that desperate. I had 4 hours of driving. Jump on Craigslist. And I started searching for jobs.
So he literally threw something at you that had no attraction.
Zero.
Okay.
Dude, who would say, oh, I can't wait to go into door-to-door sales? I didn't know door-to-door sales still existed.
Fuller brush.
And I didn't know people had to sell roofs. I thought if you needed a roof, you just call somebody, you know?
So Ron was making money?
Yeah, he did.
So even though somebody was doing better than you didn't listen?
Oh, yeah. No, I did, though, because I had 4 hours of drive time.
Okay.
Reconsidered. Jumped on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Search. Find out this thing's real. Go to my very first interview. I'm taught how to do insurance fraud in the interview. No, true story. If my interview was filmed, the guy that was interviewing me would have been put in jail.
Got it.
I knew at that point the industry was corrupt. Full of greed. I ended up interviewing with 2 other companies. I landed with one company that I didn't leave until I left on this side. The owner's name's Jesse. I was actually just talking to him yesterday. We're still super tight. And fell into door-to-door sales, read Brian Tracy's book, Goals, How to Achieve Everything in Life.
So good.
I did every single exercise in that book.
Really?
I still have them. I pinned them up on my wall. I met my wife, paid off my debt, generated this was in 2011, generated $140,000 in income in 8 months. My goal was 100. I generated 40. My first sale was a commercial project, bought a house and paid off all the debt I had.
Wow.
And it
all
was
because of a recommendation from Ron.
For getting into door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here without him. Every time I'm like,
I call it
dude,
a conduit.
I wouldn't be here without you. And he's like, nah, you did this. I'm like, no, I wouldn't.
He threw the words out there.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Who the hell would go to roofing on purpose, dude? I've spoken in front of thousands of people across America. I was doing 2 to 3 events a week. And I would ask everyone on stage, raise your hand if you grew up wanting to be a roofer. And no one, there's 2 people that raise their hand, and it's because their dad was a roofer.
Yeah.
It's like, raise your hand if you wanted to get into roofing. No one's hand goes up. So anyway, it was a pretty magical experience that led me here. And
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked that, what could people start? I'm always interested because it's twisted what we do being an entrepreneur. I got to go back and ask a really weird question you've probably never been asked before. How do you deal with, because it's a battle, you still like trading your time for money? Like I know, even if say you don't, we still have a thing like, I love getting on the phone, making sales calls. I love doing things that are not the best thing for me. How do you deal with the idea that you can do the big thing and make the bigger bucks or help more people? And then there's just that thing where you trade your time and energy for money and you still enjoy and you still get a fix from it because it's hard and it's difficult.
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't though.
You don't at all.
No. So I am only slightly in hypocrisy, and I'll put a dot on that and explain.
You understand my question, correct?
I do, but until I just took on one client for the first time.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Hold on, but that's not for. I'm going to do it for the money.
Okay.
That is because I love to do it, and I have one client that I'm working with on.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Is it because you love it?
But I wasn't in a position. I wouldn't have done it. I did it because I love it. But let me give you the whole backstory. When I was in my business, I started off this Roof Strategist thing, 2015.
Yep.
Making videos on YouTube for one reason: to help people. I got the whole, depending on how deep we want to get, there's a whole backstory on how I started the YouTube channel, became the most followed roofing sales training in the industry. My system's used by thousands in every state in the US, Canada, Australia, Sweden. Got picked up to be the official sales training partner for Owens Corning.
Wow.
They're the second largest shingle manufacturer in the world, the most selective partner organization in the industry. They vetted me for 18 months. They've been with their other sales training partner for 16 or 18 years or something before even talking to me. I was speaking for them, and many people, like to the ego, to be, flying coast to coast, 2 to 3 events, selling out events.
An hour, selling out arena.
6 hours.
Oh, doing the whole training.
6-hour trainings, 3 days a week. In the same week, no joke. I was from Philly to LA, and then having like that celebrity feel and feeling cool and doing steakhouse dinners the night before. It was exhausting. And then I started to really examine my time. Like, one, this is pulling me from my business, and it accounted for 52% of my time in 11% to 14% of my revenue during the 6-month stretch. Okay. I was like, this math doesn't shake up. And I just started thinking about business. And at that point, I walked away from that. People be like, how the hell did you walk away from that partnership? They're great partners. I wouldn't be here, without a lot of the opportunities, a lot of the stories that are in my book, people, great experience, but it didn't serve me. And I shut down 100% of my one-on-one. I was making incredible, like the day rate that I was charging was more than I used to earn in a year. And I stopped doing it. And I stopped doing it because it forced me to look at business and to build a business that grows beyond time, because you can only bill so many hours in a day. And I didn't touch that for 2 years. And what's funny, when I said I'm mildly hypocritical on this, I sat on the boards for a roofing company. I left. This was actually 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I said, I'm out. I'm not doing it. I love you. This is just not a good fit. I'm all in on my business. I'm building something that is not a time for money exchange. But the only reason I took this is I made a pledge, and I'm reinventing myself. And this was in February, to play life for the love of the game.
Okay.
I was used to
right
play
around the time we met.
Yes. I used to play to win.
I think we met last year, actually.
Yeah, we did meet last year. It was like November.
Yeah.
I've already won. So I'm pivoting. I'm playing life for the love of the game. And that's it. And everything I do, I'm like, am I doing this for the love of the game or for money?
Love of what game?
My game. Creation, creativity.
Okay.
Channeling the ability to take complex things and make them simple, and to help people win in life. And I do that through 2 vessels. Running the RSRA, Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, where you spoke.
Yep.
And then now I'm pursuing it in other places because it's fulfilling. It's like, this is my zone of genius. So there was a member of Genius Network that I got on the phone just to help. And we were talking through some stuff, and he met me in a Genius Network call because we were doing they were doing a marketing audit, and I was like checking out the website. I'm like, hey, you should have a pricing page. He's like, I'll scare people off. I'm like, that's a good thing, but here's how you position the pricing, do it a sales letter, have a price anchor, yada, yada. And he's like, can we talk? I'm like, sure. So I just like lay it all out there. And then he's like, hey, actually what I really want to do is take what I've done and build it into a community like you. Can I pay you for it? And I was like, what the, no, you can't. Like, I don't do this. And then I started thinking, and I was like, am I doing this for the love of the game, or to win, or for the money? And I don't care. I don't need the money. I don't need this as a thing. I freaking love it. And I was like, yes. But I believe that the more someone has in the game, if we were gambling here with fake money, there's no stakes. But the minute real money is on the table,
it's real.
It makes it real. I just hired my own coach. I made the largest investment of my life into one human. And I wrote a check that was a very big check. And you know what I do? Those are the most important calls in my life. I am there for the 2 hours every other week.
It's time to get serious.
It's time to get serious. Yeah. So, and I learned from my coach, who I actually also met in Genius, Devin Bandison, that when commitment matches, magic happens. And I will not work with people. If I'm going to do one-on-one stuff, there has to be an incredibly high level of commitment. And only right now, I've taken one person. and that's it. So I know that was a long-winded answer to exchanging time for money.
No, it's great.
But prior to that,
you got clear.
I refused to. I had people willing to kick down my door and write super fat checks. I did not. I spoke at his event 3 times. Each time it went up. He says, "Can you do it again?" I said, "No." And he's like, "I know your rate. I'll pay it." "No." "I'll double it." "No." I'm not selling my time for money. I know what I'm doing. This is my impact. This is what's bringing me joy and the ability to impact others. And now I'm having a slight shift because I'm going all in on helping companies market themselves, because this to me is the survival mechanism, the adaptability that's required to survive the AI revolution. And in the roofing space specifically, to survive the massive capital injection from private equity.
It's crazy.
So, which I could get into in
I think the question I got to ask is this, because I want to get to the marketing focus here in a couple seconds, is someone's listening right now, and there's 2 groups of people. There's people that are already at where we're at. We have a lot of people that listen to the show from there, some online, some do it on Spotify, some people do it on Apple. All of them listening. They share it with somebody.
Sure.
And there's a different group of people listening. Some listening right now, and they're like, "Okay, God, I'm there, Adam. Are doing well. I can make that decision." Then there's some people that are really not doing well, and they're not where they want to be, and they're going to take on that way of thinking. Like, I'm not doing anything I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Where is the ability to do that for real? Like, let's say you've got somebody that listening right now, they're making 6 figures, a little more than 6 figures in their business, after they're paying themselves, they're making a couple bucks, their business maybe does $500,000, and they're taking home 6 figures, got a couple of kids at home, and they want to say what you're saying.
Yeah.
But they're just not there yet.
Yeah, they are.
I know. Okay, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
How do we get somebody's belief system to not be bullshit? Like, I don't do things I don't want to do, then you do nothing, versus get to that point. Coach me through that.
So
you get the question.
I do. Can I share a story that will exemplify this?
Stories always tell a better answer.
I start my YouTube channel.
2015.
Yeah. Let me go back. I'm going to make this backstory a little quicker because the progression makes sense. It'll tee up the marketing conversation. As I'm COO running this roofing company, we had offices in 5 states, 6 cities. I'm handling our marketing. I'm like, shit, I get this. Like, I'm having fun with it. And I burn out. I thought I was having a heart attack. Before I was 30, I was in the ICU overnight, some heart shit. And I leave. I had nothing lined up. Nothing. That's how burned out I was. By the way, that year, my Christmas bonus was a 1991 Corvette ZR1. Things were good.
Okay.
I left. And I end up joining forces, getting into the consulting side with another gentleman who I actually had hired to do some consulting with us. He was a growing business, great human, just wasn't the right fit. I go start my own thing. My wife comes up with a name, the Roof Strategist.
It's a genius name.
I know, isn't it? I was like, so the 100% credit to Sheena. I'm doing consulting with these roofers, and dude, I was doing real well. It was a flat retainer. I'd work with like a handful of clients. We're like 20 hours a week at this point in my life, living life. I just sold my house, everything I own. We're traveling the country in an RV. And I started to get really bored talking to owners because they don't do the things they say they're going to do. So imagine if I'm like, hey, listen, Michael, this is what you need to do with your team. And you're like, I love it. And then next week I'm like, Michael, what'd you do? Nothing. I got busy. So I started making YouTube videos. And I didn't know, they weren't public. I just didn't know anything about the internet and how to store
private
videos. Yeah, private. And they were on my website. I had emailed them to my web guy. And I'm like, put these all on the website behind a password. But I don't know how to change passwords. So just like make roof123 the password for everybody. So everyone had the same password. And then I burned out again. So I left roofing once. I got with this consultant, left him, didn't plan on getting back into roofing, got back into roofing, ended up doing some consulting, worked with some bad people. I said, screw this, I'm done. I made the videos free. I said, I hope they help somebody. I went from private or unlisted or whatever to public. Videos are getting going. I'm incredibly self-conscious at this point. Here I am in a world where it was all like super bro-y, aggressive, hardcore, pushy sales stuff. And I'm like a gentle, kind human who doesn't fit the like bro-y, like I'm 5'3" and a gentle giant, you know? So I realized I'm like, my passion is really marketing and copywriting. So I reinvented myself as a direct response copywriter and sales consultant. Somehow the first client I land was one of Oprah Winfrey's top 50 most influential women.
Oh my God. Who's that?
I can't say because I'm under a little thing.
Call it person.
Yeah,
A person.
a person, a great human. And this person sold their business. And when they did, my stuff was still like their opt-in, autoresponder, all that was the stuff I wrote. I did some affiliate launch stuff with them. I ended up working for Marcy Shimoff. She narrated the book The Secret, and our movie The Secret. She wrote Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul. Worked with her and her partner on their coaching program. I worked with Snappy Kraken. They're one of the fastest growing fintech companies. So I helped design their marketing campaigns, write them, and then train their writing team. So anyway, I got like a lot of incredible experience. So at this point in my life, and this goes back to the mindset of making that shift. Okay, now we're back on track.
Yeah.
I am seeing that my business, the Roof Strategist, because I got to play with other people's money, and I had way other clients. Like everything was a service business that I worked with, and it was what I call the needs-based niche. People that had a high-ticket service that needed someone to raise their hand, have a consultative sale. So that was all types of different clients in that category of my defined niche, based on needs and not a category. So I tee up my business, and I was just people started watching my YouTube videos and saying make more, and I'm like, why would I? And Sheena says you should, which is my wife. She says you should do it because you're helping people, and that was it. So I just started making videos. Zero product idea, zero monetization plan. I just made videos because
you didn't have Roof Strategist, didn't have a mastermind, didn't anything at this point.
No, I had the name. My YouTube channel was called the Roof Strategist.
Yeah,
which was rebranded to Adam Bensman, I don't know, 2 years ago. But I had the brand and people, so I started making videos and people watch them, and I'm like, well, crap, I should like do something. So people are like, well, how do you get leads? I'm like, dude, I have all the stuff I wrote, direct mail letters, door hanger letters. Like, I'll package that up as my first product. So I launched my first digital product. I'm making $5,000 a month. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I started applying all my digital marketing strategies and having upsells and offer bumps and tripwire pages. And then I'm making $20,000 a month. I'm spending zero money on ads.
Because you're sending it to your YouTube
it's
channel.
It's all organic traffic off YouTube.
Wow.
100%. And I'm like, holy crap, I got a business. Now I slowly start firing my copywriting clients because I'm like, I'm making some money here. I have one client left. He's paying me $8,000 a month retainer plus success fees. So I'm making about $16,000 a month. I'm sitting here and I understand, this goes back to why I don't do one-on-one, is my brain power. You know, we talked earlier whether or not that'll make this recording about focus.
Yes.
Us ADD folks, is like, I do this. I need to be on one thing. And I knew that shifting from my brand to their brand was screwing me up. And that loss of brain power wasn't going to keep me from growing this. I leave this company with $16,000 a month about on the table. I hire my first person at $5,000 a month, and I take on $5,000 a month of ad spend. So I take a $25,000 hit.
The other direction, yeah.
The other direction. I stewed on that for months. Guess how long it took me to recover? It didn't.
Because you already were.
I never felt it.
Got it.
I just built the parachute on the way down.
So you just jumped, figured it out.
Our business since inception, there was one quarter where we were in the red because I had made an investment into some web assets that we built. The other thing is when I went into door-to-door sales, I was trying to juggle my massage therapy while doing this door-to-door sales thing. My selling time was taken up, prime selling time was taken up by prime massage time, nights and weekends. I quit. This was commission only. I went 8 weeks without making a penny when I already had none. Everyone would say you're an idiot, but I had already decided what success was. All I had to do is reverse engineer it. So if you're not willing to bet on yourself, who will? And if it's your company and you can't bet on yourself, why would your team bet on you? So this is the thing with people that want uncommon results in life, you have to be willing to do uncommon things. If success was so easy and simple, however you define it, I don't care if it's playing at the top of your game in hockey, being a guitar player, or being a master business person, or you want to speak on stages, or you want to make millions. However you define success, those people have done the things that are not common, which is why they have uncommon levels of results. So high levels of risk, knowing what needs to happen and betting on yourself, like at some point there is more risk than there is reward. And what Devin, my coach, has said, and I just have to give him credit for this, and I may paraphrase it, but basically all of our suffering is at the root a failure to commit. So when going back to like the entrepreneur that says, hey, I want to, I want to stop selling my time for money.
I want to stop doing things I don't want to be doing.
Yeah. But then I keep doing them. That's your own problem. Like when you just commit to not doing that, you'll make it happen. And what does Dan Sullivan say? He says there's Joe Polish said this today at the event, and I have it written in my journal in the car. There's two types of suffering, short-term and long-term. So you're going to have some struggles. It's not easy, but in the other thing is like, everyone's risk tolerance is different. So if you're not willing to take such a big risk, then build the bridge and find the path out and make it as fast as possible. But people will always stay as close to they can. If the inferno is you, I will always be just outside of the inferno until it burns. So do you know what I mean? Like
I'm visualizing it right now.
It's like a lava pit. Oh man, my business sucks a little bit. I can handle this. But the minute that shit hits you, you're like, I'm out.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think that entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. And I think that is easy as I'm going to oversimplify it, but success is created in the mind and reverse engineered. And if you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to happen.
Never.
And if you don't commit to doing what needs to happen, it will never happen.
So do you think that's focus? Because you used the interesting word focus. I think a lot of people miss focus. Like, oh my God, I get focused. So you're basically saying you got to pick. Are you going to actually focus in on doing that thing? And we'll get to marketing in a minute.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people watching this are like, I need to figure out what is my secret formula, blah, blah, blah. I truly believe you got to learn how to sell. I truly believe that almost every great marketer I've ever met has a sales psychology style background. They've got their head kicked in, they've done it the hard way, and then they figured out marketing. The best marketers I've ever seen have learned how to sell at some point, which is you. You sold right off the bat.
Yes.
And then you turn it to marketing. When you mentioned focus a minute ago, you turned off. What's your strategy if you had a minute for someone going like, but I want to do this, I want to do that. Like if they wanted to focus in on something and not do massage at night and not do this, like how does somebody do that?
Discipline. I mean,
that's a big cover word, but what does it mean?
Oh, I love that you challenged me on that. That's good.
Let's
get into it.
Yeah.
I don't know many entrepreneurs who have a lot of businesses that are successful.
And anyone ever says multiple streams of income, I know they're broke.
Yeah.
Now,
I need 7 because I read it online.
Robert Kiyosaki said multiple streams.
Yeah.
My opinion is it's not that you can't have multiple business. Wealthy people have many businesses. They invest in businesses. I've learned that you can't run 2 things at once.
Correct.
I don't know how people, God, I don't know how anybody would have 3 wives. I don't know how you could do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know how people raise 15 kids. Do you know what I'm saying? But so if you were to say, somebody watching this right now, the biggest thing that I feel from working with some of your folks, the biggest thing you bring them is you bring them focus, you bring them strategy, you bring them coaching.
Yeah.
But the marketing aspect of things, what really excites you, how is that? How does somebody really dive into that without having to study every Dan Kennedy book, without having to study I have all the audios upstairs, dude. I have it all. I have every Sugarman, everything you can ever imagine. You got it on there too?
I have some things I'm going to pull up so I can reference. But before I do this, let me get to that in a second. Let's go back to this focus thing and then we're going to get into this. I don't know many. You are right. The people like in Genius, there are people that are geniuses that have built a business. They have reached. I was just talking to a gentleman this morning at breakfast. He says basically up until you're at 10 million is that point where, and I'm not there right now in my business, where you can have an executive team that can run everything.
And you don't have to show up anymore. Richard Branson effect. You can go sit on the island all day.
Which is great. And then you can do the other things. But for the listeners here,
I would say 95% of them are not there.
I'm going to guess.
Maybe 99.
That would be my assumption.
So you got some work to do, folks.
And
me too.
Those people like thinking I'm going to run multiple businesses just means you're just doing a lot of things half-assed.
Half-assed. One butt cheek.
And so the reason, let me explain. I started the Roof Strategist brand. I had my first product. And then I had another product, and then I had another product, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. And then I had a bundle of this, and a bundle of that, and a bundle of this. And with each of them, you had 4 different ways to pay. I had 36 order forms to track. 36. People call up, I want this, I have, and then no one knew my product names. They just said, I have the Roof Strategist sales system, which is not what I called it. It's what I call it now because I was in, this is learning lessons. But it was also, I developed those as I grew and I didn't have the packaging done.
Were you just selling things like I did? Just you needed to come up with the next thing and somebody wanted, so you made it and sold it?
Yes, but it was linear. I just didn't have the packaging in my mind yet.
Okay.
But in a way, I built what people needed.
Yep.
I spotted the holes. So, and then I had one-on-one services, so people could fly me out for training and stuff. So all these different tiers. When I launched the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, I went down to one offer. That's it.
One product.
One product.
One membership.
One offer. I cut one-on-one. I walked away from a very handsomely paid speaking career. Again, I never felt it. In fact, my income went up.
Was it simplification more than focus?
Yes, but that's
a
the
very
same
powerful
thing.
word.
Simplification and focus.
They're not the same word. That's a different way of looking at the word. So simplification, I know about my buddy Kent Clothier did the same thing.
Sure.
Kent was doing, Kent? Kent's boardroom mastermind. He's in the real estate world. He did the same. He had 40 different things going on, software, then he made one thing. If you're a high level real estate investor, we have a community and that's it. It's always two levels of it. 2 levels depending on where you're at. But that was it. One product.
Yeah.
Simplified the whole company, made him have a life.
Yes.
Before that, it was like, go here, there, go there. And we all fall for that.
Simple.
So focus, I think that's a new word, simplification. It isn't that you need focus. We may or may never get as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But simplification
keep it simple.
Is the focus.
That's been our core theme, is just make it simple, make it simple, make it simple, make it simple. And it's easier to articulate. Your messaging gets clearer. It's easier for you to build a business. I mean, think of it just objectively. I have not only me, you, every business should have one core funnel. The ability to take someone, and I'm talking consultative business. I have zero desire to talk e-commerce. So if you're in the e-commerce world, you'll be able to grab this, but I don't do product sales.
Yep. I
am talking information products, consulting, masterminds, premium price services. If you're a service-driven company, coaches, authors, online programs. Dude, I've worked with art coaching, playing music by ear, grill cleaning, believe it or not, like at homes,
petting
roofing. I haven't done a petting zoo before. Financial services. I've worked with lawyers. Like all of this, it's the same idea of taking someone who doesn't know you to raise their hand, which says, I'm interested, and put them through a series of assets, web forms, opt-in pages, confirmation pages, appointment reminders, nurture sequence. That's a core funnel.
Let's backtrack for a second, because I think we can cover something that's never been covered.
How
do we get simple? All right, I want to break in here real quick and remind you that motivation and mindset do not happen by accident. They happen by choice. They happen by decision. And why not start off the week in the most incredible way with an incredible Monday mindset that you can activate in less than 90 seconds. Go to michaelbernoff.com/Monday Mindset, and you'll get access to our quick 90-second emails and videos that we will send every single Monday to activate your mindset in business and personal and every aspect of your life, so you can guarantee to live an above average life. michaelbernoff.com/Monday Mindset. Get your access today. Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's get really clear where you got a guy auto detailing 40 different services. Instead he just does one service. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he can get more when he gets there. How do we get clear? Because if we're really good salespeople or really good entrepreneurs, and I know Joe falls for this too, he's got 40 things going on in every meeting, like 95 things.
Yeah.
If we I hear you. Yeah. Because when you master the one, you only have to have one conversation. Get really freaking good at that one thing that you do very, 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 very well. It's the Taylor Swift effect. Like, she mastered the show. Yeah. She is a singer and she performs, and that's it. She's not trying to do anything else.
Yeah.
It's sing, perform, sing, perform, sing, perform, sing, perform. And that's what she did. And she made $1 billion, I think, in a year and a half. I think she made $1 billion in a year and a half.
I know. It's crazy.
I donated about $8,000 to that.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, we were talking about that out there.
But the point is, why am I getting at this? Is how does somebody do this? Let's take an industry. Let's talk about it. They're really good at that one offer.
Let's pick your company.
Okay.
So people come here.
Get free consulting.
Well, it's easier. Car detailing. I need to have a business. We could do a car detailing. I think it'll be more fun with this.
Okay.
So Human Communications Institute.
Yep.
Let's say, what's your main offer? I know you got a few things, but
we got a few things. Our main thing everybody gets to is human interaction technology. It's how to communicate with people, to affect the way they live, empower them with communication influence. That is our main, that is the basis of everything we do, is my human interaction technology. Perfect. It's how to interact with people in a way that allows you to, whether it's sell or empower, be a good parent. It's learning a skill most people never have.
Okay. And how is that delivered?
That is delivered two ways. It's throughout all of our programs, but that is, there's a certification that you can get for that. And it's also delivered in everything that I teach.
Okay. So give me one example. Let's just pick one delivery method, like a program, online program.
Yeah. So if you wanted to start the process, you could go to a core event coming up.
Okay.
Core event.
Core
event. 2.5. It's called Core Live. It's 2.5 days. And it is an opportunity for you to be around it, experience it, and use it.
Yeah. Perfect. And we got some of our members going there.
I'm excited about that.
So let's use this as an example. For most folks that are listening, if you have a business, you have some semblance of marketing.
Yes.
It might be crappy.
Yep.
Might be amazing.
Yep.
Okay.
We're all marketing at some point.
So let me ask you this. You get in your truck. I love your plates. Drive an Escalade, nice truck. You get in your Escalade.
Sucks. Yeah.
And your gas gauge is broken. Yeah. How far can you go?
Well, the gas gauge is broken, or there's no gas in the car?
No, the gas gauge is broken.
Okay.
How far can you go?
Well, I'm asking a question because gas gauge, I'm not a car guy. Is my gas gauge like my...
Tells you how much fuel you have.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's in there. I can go until it goes out.
And then what happens when it goes out?
You start walking.
Yeah, perfect.
Or you get more gas.
So this is how most people run their marketing. They don't know how much gas is in the tank.
Got it.
And the reason I use that analogy is that a lot of people want to talk marketing and they talk tactics.
Okay.
The first step is what I call your marketing control dashboard. Marketing is a series. This is coming from a guy who was in the same math class 4 years in a row.
Okay.
Marketing is solving math problems. And for the note takers, write that down. Marketing is math problems.
But if you're driving, don't write anything down.
No, if you're driving, don't write anything down, but make a mental note.
Tattoo it inside your brain.
Yeah. Okay. So what we need to do first is get a gas gauge that we can measure on. The easiest things, and I have a dashboard for this. I'm just going to walk through a few, and I'm going to keep it high level because high level is really all you need to get started. I need to know how many leads am I getting? How many of them are qualified?
Okay.
How many of those convert into an appointment?
What's your definition of a lead and a prospect?
Okay. A prospect is someone who I can market to.
Okay.
A lead is someone who has expressed interest in learning more.
It's still a name and a phone number or email address.
So if you talk to marketers, an MQL is a qualified person to market to. So I'll give you my funnel, for example. I have a free training center. A marketing qualified lead is someone that comes in that I have them select their role, etc. I have nothing to sell to a salesperson. I can't offer a service to them. So they're not a marketing qualified lead. They're still on my list. I still provide a bunch of value and continue to do so. But a marketing qualified lead is someone who matches the criteria that can apply because I have an application only organization. And you have to be an owner manager to apply to join, and ownership needs to approve.
Fill out a long form.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I know if they select that they're an owner manager, this is now a marketing qualified lead. Okay. Now, a sales qualified lead is someone who fills out our application, but they did not book a call yet, or we call it their application call. Someone who books their call, now we have an actual, some people call it a demo, we call it an application call. So that's 3 steps. Now I know, of all the leads I get, what percentage are marketing qualified? Meaning, am I getting in front of potential people to even sell something to?
Okay.
Of these marketing qualified people, how many are applying to join our organization? Of the people that apply, how many of them actually book a time to speak with us? Of these people, how many become who shows up? And then who actually becomes a member? So we need a central starting point. So for most companies, the easiest thing is how many leads do you have? How many are qualified? In other words, if you're running a car detailing business and a 15-year-old fills out the form, you have nothing that you can do because he doesn't have a car, right? Same thing. I love when roofers are like, yeah, I got out there, but they were a renter. So they're not a qualified lead. You can't sell a roof to someone who doesn't own a house.
So we got to be honest.
The easiest way to can I tell you what a qualified lead is? This is my definition. They have a problem you can solve. They can afford to fix it.
Yes.
That's it.
And with the desired, and then they don't even need a desire yet. That is a
qualified lead.
That's not even somebody. Yes. Then we got to figure out how to sell them on actually wanting to do something about it.
But it's amazing.
Give it one more time.
Okay. A qualified lead has a problem that you can solve and the ability to pay to get it fixed.
Okay.
That's it. And it's amazing how many people I'll talk to roofing salespeople like, man, these people, they just said they didn't have the money and I couldn't get them approved for financing. And I'm like, so walk away. They cannot afford your solution. If I walked into a Ferrari dealer when I was making $19,000 a year, they'd be like, yeah, dude, this car is like 10 times your annual income.
So
it will take
do you
10
think
years.
the obsession of somebody, so let's just say someone protects that person. I get a kick out of this because listen, I've been around sales and I've probably made over 1 million cold calls in my life. I owned a call center at one point. Like I've been around it all. And I find people protect the lead. What I mean by that is they make up excuses and they protect it. What do you think the reason is that somebody makes up a story, creates a hallucination that could be better than what it is? The girl gave all the signs that they have no intentions in the world on being able to find or fund the thing.
Yeah.
And, or they don't really want to solve the problem, but we make it up that they want to solve the problem and they have the money. Why do you feel so many people protect the lead, as I'd call it, or create a hallucination that could actually be something it's not?
There's 2 reasons.
Yeah.
Reason 1 is the new desperate salesperson that doesn't understand this yet. So they view if there's an opportunity, this is like the problem with hustle culture. It's like, go after everything. Like you are a total loser if you don't pursue every opportunity. But the best...
You can sell anyone.
You can't. You can't.
He
could sell ice to an Eskimo. No, he couldn't. That is the best words a salesman or salesperson or whatever's PC now, sales human, it can do.
Sales hound.
A sales hound is to say no. Like the best thing you can do is protect your time. So I think that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is less common, and it's just the people that got into sales for all the right reasons, and they have their big heart is also their big weakness. Like, I really want to help. Which believe me, I did that so many times. I chased deals that I shouldn't have done because out of this like desperate desire to want to be of service and to help someone.
Yes.
And then there just needs to be this objective thing. Just like when you have a team member, for example, that's not a good fit. It's like, hey, this isn't working. It's not going to work.
Never going to work.
It's just, there's nothing we're going to do that's going to make it work. So that's my answer.
That's good. And the reason I'm glad you bring that up. So, okay. So qualified lead, unqualified lead. I'm loving this.
I'm going to show you this.
And
dashboard.
then I want to make certain we clarify this because I want to take the same strategy you're covering and I want to change the industry a little bit because I understand it in coaching. Anyone listening right now that owns a gym.
Let's do it. Pick an industry.
Well, we're going to go different real quick. So if you own a gym, you're in the coaching business, you own a service that somebody is going to pay for the service time or money. For instance, own a gym, booking mobile tanning treatment, car wash, whatever. The appointment thing makes sense. What is the version of that we could do for somebody that I don't even know another industry?
Yeah, let's keep it real simple. Let's go high level. By the way, is this camera going to see this? Here's my actual reporting dashboard.
Yeah.
Does that show up?
Yeah.
I'm giving this away.
Chip knows. Chip loves this.
Chip knows. Chip loves this. All right. So you can watch this while I'm...
Can they get access that later?
They can access it right here.
Got it. Okay, right there. And how do they find you on Instagram or anything right off the bat?
I should know my own Instagram handle. This is how good I am at this game.
Bensman. Find him.
Yeah.
I'll put it up later.
It's at Roof Strategist, I think.
Roof Strategist. Check that out.
So anyway, let's keep it real simple. How many people reached out?
Yep.
How many people converted into an appointment? That's what's called your set rate. Okay. We want that as a percentage. I'll explain why. Next is how many people we earn as a customer. That's your close rate. Okay. From there, we want to know our average sale.
Yep.
How do we calculate these? Easy. How many people called you, emailed you, messaged you, texted you is your total leads. Set rate of those. How many people said, hey, I'm interested? Okay. That's your set rate. You can do that in a percent.
Yep.
Close rate, how many people that said I'm interested became a customer.
Yep.
And then how many sales did you make last month? Total dollar amount divided by the number of customers is your average sale price. Now you have a measuring stick. From this measuring stick, what most people think is this. I hear this all the time. I need more leads. No, you don't. You need to fix your marketing before you get leads. Pouring fuel on the fire requires having a fire. You can't pour fuel on a match because what will happen?
Nothing.
Yeah, the match goes out. So sometimes, right? Someone's gonna be like, no, it won't. That's not how gas works. But hopefully you can get the analogy, right? So what most people don't realize, so I doubled my business 3 years in a row by these numbers. I looked at my set rate, my close rate, and my average order value. And then the last one was my customer acquisition cost. Those are the 4 numbers, okay? And what I did is I realized I had a lot of leads, but not as many people that were reaching out booked a call. So what did I do? I optimized this. How did I optimize it? I secret shoppered my own company. I looked at it and I was like, holy crap, my call to action isn't right. And if my follow-up sequence was simpler and I got in touch with them faster, we'd increase our set rate. And we
So you
did.
picked one part of the situation. So you didn't go, I'm going to go do marketing, which means I'm going to give Facebook $50,000 a month,
No.
and I'm going to get an autoresponder, one funnel to be rich. You basically said, I'm going to look at the beginning of this thing. I've got 50,000 people, and they're not filling out the form.
Correct.
And they're not. And if I could just get them to fill out the form, you started at the beginning.
Yes, always at the top.
Okay.
When you feed
It's not sexy, but
funnel,
it makes sense.
No, it's that simple. How do I get
It's
more
like checking
people?
calories.
It's taking, if you were starving and all you had to eat was the oranges off of your tree in your yard and you were down to the last one, what are you going to do to that orange? Squeeze the shit out of it. That's what we're doing first, is creating an optimized process. So we look at that number and we say, how do I make that number bigger? Because if you go from most people, when they look at this, they're going to realize their set rate sucks. It might be at 50%. And you can get it up to like 70 to 80%, depending on how people are reaching out to you. All of a sudden, and I'm terrible at math, but that's not 30% more. That's from 50% to 80%, which is
It's huge. It's
like
100% more.
Yeah.
It's 87% more.
Thank you.
I bet we could get.
I need another one of those mind things to get there.
Good, yeah.
So you just created an 87% lift on your marketing from one thing. Okay, that's it. So you can still suck at marketing, but you just got 87% more appointments. And then I looked at the next thing, which was our close rate. So what did I do? I was like, okay, I'm going to analyze how our sales are being done.
Now, let me ask a question. That is sales at that point. Now, I want to get clear for everybody. A lot of people want the marketing to close the sale. Something still has to sell it.
Yep. We're just going to walk through this and then we'll go back.
Okay.
Yeah. Because these three things are what run your business that your marketing should be built off of.
Okay.
Okay. Because I'm going to peel back the curtains on what I've done. I've made millions of dollars of profit, not just revenue, profit for myself from my marketing. If you look at my metrics, you'd be like, that guy, he's not that big. I got 90,000, not even like 88,000 subs on Instagram or on YouTube.
Wow.
And I'm running a multi-million-dollar business.
That's amazing. You don't have 5 million.
No.
Yeah.
And it's 80,000 subs.
Because 80,000 right subs.
Yes. And it's not even, which I'll share. This is going to go into the metrics because a lot of people get confused on what marketing actually is, which we'll talk about.
146 of them are right.
Right. So, and once I looked at the close rate, that's conversion, how many people I bring in so you can work on your sales, which we're not going to get into today. And then I looked at how much they spend. And when I was able to increase my set rate and increase my close rate, and I doubled my price, 2 years in a row, my business doubled. Guess what didn't change? My ad spend. Okay, I upped it a couple $1,000, which its scale percentage-wise was minuscule. So once you have that baseline, now we can start looking at what our marketing is doing. And when you're looking at marketing, a lot of people think social media, I need to put out videos to the world and get likes and get clicks and people buy subs. Like, it's so stupid. When I said I have 88 or whatever thousand subs, you can find me on YouTube. Just type in Adam Bensman. My metrics in my community, on average, so when I say community, it's our membership organization. At the time of this recording, 368 roofing companies. We're in 40 states. The average company has 17 members set up in our community for one owner. Okay. So now think of that. I have one decision maker out of 7 people. So if I make a video on YouTube, some of my best performing videos bring in no money. My lowest performing videos that will not even break 1,000 views can generate $100,000 of sales in a day.
Is that because it doesn't matter how many people watch it? It matters who watches it?
It's who watches it. So I have to do some math. I told you I'm not good at math. So I got to get a calculator out. I'm a smart human who's not good at math. So if I said
Smart enough to have a calculator.
Yeah, 88,000 views, and I divide that by 7, it really means my audience is 12,000 people.
Okay.
And I don't know if it actually is.
So the 80,000 makes you feel good. Looks good to them, but it doesn't matter.
I got 12,000 people who actually have a credit card.
Okay.
Right? So what people don't realize is that how many followers and likes you have is insignificant. I was making $20,000 a month with 5,000 subs.
Got it.
Maybe it was 7.
Still impressive.
It's nothing. And my biggest piece of advice, if we could simplify marketing, is you put out helpful information that your ideal person needs to hear. And you start by writing a list of the questions that they would ask you. Whatever product, service, whatever it is that you do, from car detailing to running a high-end spa to running coaching programs, whatever problems that person has and they're asking, you make videos to help.
So let's start at the beginning. Someone's listening right now. They have no videos. They've got a phone.
Perfect.
No videos.
Give me a.
We're going to take an example of. Let's take a. Let me think of an industry that I have somebody. Let's take someone who owns a gym.
Okay. You own a gym.
They own a gym.
Perfect.
Okay, I own a gym. Gym is it's not a regular gym. It's kickboxing.
Kickboxing gym.
Kickboxing.
Perfect.
Let's pick that as an example. Kickboxing, Taibo, that kind of thing.
I love that you were going to say Botox.
Botox, not Botox.
The
Fine,
Botox
do you want to do
gym.
Botox?
Perfect. So we're going to do
Botox gym.
We're going
Botox
to
gym.
do Botox gym.
Yeah, everyone gets injected when they first walk in. Okay, now on a serious note, we got a gym.
Okay, we're kickboxing.
And we got to
gym.
make content.
Mm-hmm.
We've officially made none.
Yes.
I got a YouTube channel left over from 2008 when I first set it up.
Yeah.
I've got a my MySpace isn't open anymore, but I had a MySpace account. I mess around on Instagram and on Facebook. I share pictures of my kids. What do we do? I got to looking right. I'm looking left. I'm looking up, looking down.
Mm-hmm.
How do I I want to get some movement. I want to start your process. What do I do?
Okay. First question. Who joins the kickbox gym?
People that want to get in shape.
Okay. A lot of people want to get in shape, so let's get dialed. I'm going to walk you through a process.
70% women.
70% women.
Okay.
Now, we are.
And this is a process that they'll learn from us right now.
Okay. So 70% women, what do they want? And don't say get in shape because that's too broad.
They don't look good.
They want to look good. Okay. What are they afraid of?
Getting old and being like not liking the way they look at someone looking like people looking at them.
Okay. And why would they believe in your gym?
That's a good question. I don't own that gym right now, but I'm going to manufacture that right now. So the reason they believe in our gym is we've got people that are healthy here that already know how to do it, and we've worked with someone like them before.
Okay.
We've worked with women that are getting older, that are comfortable with it and confident, and they're looking younger every day.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to start at the top. I have 8 marketing laws that I teach.
Yep.
First one, law of desire.
Yep.
Okay. Law of desire is tapping into what people want.
Okay.
You cannot manufacture desire.
Okay.
I can't make you want to dye your hair pink.
No.
Okay. But what I could figure out how to do if I wanted to be a fancy marketer is find a way to tap into your inherent desire to be unique and have status and somehow link pink hair to that, and then you'd have pink hair.
I might go do that right now.
But my point is we need to give people what they want and what they want now. Okay. So that's the law of desire. Number 2, law of magnetism. Your content has to repel all the wrong people just as much as it attracts it. Okay. So if I put up an ad that says like everybody in the world loves kickboxing and so should you, people are gonna be like, well, no, they don't. So if I put up an ad that said something like, and I know we're not talking ad, we're talking content, but just run with me here on the concept that like the gym where middle-aged women kickbox to get in shape and love every minute. And if I read that and it's you scrolling, are you going to?
No, because I'm not a middle-aged woman.
You're like middle-aged white woman, boring, kickboxing, not my thing.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a law of magnetism. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is a law of fear. People take action because they're afraid of consequences, but at the same time, they're afraid to take action for a different set of consequences. Let me explain. In this example of a person joining a gym, you said they're afraid of getting old.
Yeah, they're afraid of like just their body going in a direction it wants to go.
Okay, so that's what's gonna right.
Yeah.
So they say I want to get fit because I'm afraid of what's happening to my body. I don't want to join a gym because I'm self-conscious.
Yep.
Am I good enough? Am I going to be strong enough? Am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to be judged? So my content needs to appeal to both of these fears. Planet Fitness does a great job at this.
Yeah, the no whatever.
Yeah, no I forget.
You won't get picked on. No judgment zone.
The no judgment zone and the no
pizza
like
on Fridays.
No bro zone, which is funny because I'm actually building a home gym right now. We just got a logo designed for it because we're getting it printed on all
the floor.
No, on all the dumbbells.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's called the Rage Cage.
Let me know the company used for that. I'm interested.
Oh yeah, I will. We just ordered them today actually. So my point is this is what you need to be thinking about. Who is my content for? What is it they want? Okay. What are they afraid of if they don't do this? Afraid of getting old, not being able to take care of my kids, lift the kids up anymore, whatever. But at the same time, I'm afraid to join a gym because I'm brand new at this. I don't want to be judged. Is it going to be too advanced? I don't like sweating.
Am I going to learn it? Am I going to be able to do it quickly?
Yes, all these things. And then I would ask you, what has someone tried beforehand?
Got it.
And now that I know all of this, I can make content as if, and the best thing to do, by the way, is if I'm that gym person, is write down a list of all the questions someone asks me before they sign up.
Okay.
That's it. So what would those questions be? Let's play. You know what? I'll be the middle-aged housewife. Okay. And you run the gym.
Okay.
So this is what I'm thinking. How does it work? How often
many people
are
are in
classes?
each class?
How many people are in each class?
What days are you open? What's the schedule? Is it hard? Are there people like me here?
Exactly. And now,
what do I do with my kids?
All of those right there are your first videos.
Okay.
Basically, what you're doing is you're educating people on how to buy. If you offer a different service, so that was for a gym,
it's like Penta water
for you,
highly effective hydrogenated water. You try that yet?
Not yet. Am I going to get smarter?
Yeah, that's really good. I have a story about that. It's good water.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
That's like fancy water.
Fancy water.
Yeah.
And I can taste how fancy it is.
Yeah.
I left my Louis bag in the car.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't have a Louis bag.
I know. Yeah. So let's say if we want to drink fancy water. So my question is, we got to find people that actually would pay $3-4 a bottle for water, right?
Yeah, I don't do products. We're not talking products. We'll talk services.
Let's talk service.
For your
hydration.
Better yet, who would teach hydration? A functional doctor, functional medicine.
Let's take
doctor.
functional medicine.
Yeah, functional medicine. So
first question is, who's their market?
Who's their market?
People that want to be healthier, that think their health is important.
Yeah. There's also what's called an acute search trigger. So when you look at someone who,
and I love how you said I don't do products. You stuck with it. I didn't. I subconsciously tricked you into trying to do something you didn't want to do.
Oh, that's good.
You are not. You're all who you say you are. That's
great.
Great.
I don't know how shit about selling products. I don't sell products. I sell services.
Anything, yeah.
I've never sold. Have I ever sold products?
Well, let's focus on the health person.
Sorry, thank you.
Let's go to bring you back.
That mind
squirrel
is going. I need another one of those. Yeah. All right. So for a functional medicine person, we talk acute search trigger.
Yep.
People come to you for help.
Yep.
People come to me for help.
Yep.
People are going to go to a doctor for help.
Yep.
Doctor is the perfect example. The acute search trigger, if you can lean into that.
Help.
Okay. So let's think of this. What is happening in someone's life when they go that would say, I need a functional medicine doctor?
They have something no one else can solve.
Okay.
They've already been to the regular doctor already.
Mm-hmm.
They've heard it all. They know that there's got to be a better way. They are frustrated. They are annoyed, and there's just something wrong.
They got symptoms.
Yeah.
And they're acute.
Yeah.
This is where most marketing goes wrong. We don't tap into the acute search trigger. So if I know, like I'll give you an example. When I was selling my sales system, which I don't anymore, it's only available to our members, I knew the acute search trigger. It was this simple. I just fell short of my sales goals.
Yep.
Okay. I'm about to hire a whole bunch of people to ramp up for the season.
Yep.
Okay. I just hired someone and holy crap, I realized I don't have a system and they can't watch over my shoulder. That's the 3.
And I can never get a break.
Yes. So I don't just say, we have the greatest sales training in the world. We're the most followed. I say, did you just hire someone and you don't have a training system in place? Imagine freeing up 20 hours of your time from hand-holding that one person, losing him and having to go do it again. Plug them right in. Done for you training, 9.5 hours. They're out in the street with a clear goal, know exactly what they need to do. And I've armed them with the step-by-step process and all the marketing material to bring their dream to life and make you look like a hero. By now, the end, right?
Done.
Next one, you get the idea. So instead of selling your thing, you repackage it and give them exactly what they're looking for in that moment that solves the now problem.
And it's the same thing.
Correct.
It's still the financial service appointment. You're still meeting with a wealth advisor, but it's different.
It's all
Are you sick and tired of watching your friends make money?
Mm-hmm. That's not even enough though, because are you sick and tired of watching your friends make money?
And you don't get in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're losing out on, is your 401k, you're
just dropped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to think to the acute moment. People are like, what keeps them up at night? It's not what keeps them up at night. It's what's going on when they go onto Google or they go onto YouTube and they're like, crap, I've had enough. It's the rock bottom moment that causes change.
Yep.
So when you know what's going on in someone's life and you can market to it. So let's go back to the kickboxing thing. I know we're bouncing from functional.
No. We're kickboxing. Let's think on the kickboxing all the way through.
So on the kickboxing thing, what I would, this is for everyone that's in business, you should know your clients better than they know themselves. And when I speak at my events, my members laugh because I tell them their own story. And I'm going to give you one segue and then we'll get back to kickboxing. Roofing companies, there's 3 types. And I'll tell you exactly what's going on. The young company is motivated by one thing. Give me the quick fix and the fastest path to making money and scaling. So greed is their primary motivator. They've had enough traction and they just want the golden goose, the secret sauce, the magic keys to unlock sales because they got everything figured out.
Oh, they're great.
Okay. Then that's your 1 to 3 million guy. Your $3 to $6 million guy or gal. They've got an established business and they know that they can sell, they can market, they can produce, they can recruit. But what they need is systems. And what I need right now is I've reached a point, I have a plateau, I cannot break through. It's the second year in a row. I'm bumping up the ceiling. I got to get out of wearing all the hats. I have no life. I need systems in place. Okay. Then we've got the 6 million to 15 million, 20 million. We would have some organizations doing 50 to 140 in our group, but that's the sweet spot, 6 to 10 for this next phase. And what they're afraid of is losing it all. So what they want is, I've been running the business for so long, all of a sudden things changed. AI's in place. The workforce is different. The CRMs are doing, there's automations. Now you can get an instant roof quote. I used to have to go out. What is the new way to do business? How do I keep up so the rug isn't pulled out from under me? And that's the 3 different camps. So I can speak to those 3 audiences and I know what keeps them up at night. I know the problems with their salespeople. I know the problems with their production. I know every bad thing that happens throughout their day. I could tell a personal narrative to.
Wow.
So for the kickboxing person, what I would think through is, who's the exact person that I'm selling? That when I say I'm selling, that sounds so aggressive, and I don't mean it as like I'm selling them. Like, no.
Who am I looking to share?
Who am I looking to share?
Who am I looking to make a decision?
And on that note, my definition, I just actually was shopping for a new truck a couple weekends ago, and I took the salesman out on, it was like my 3rd test drive or something, and I'm like, dude, your little intake with me, I was like, let me let you in on something, okay? You have one job as a salesperson. You know what it is? It's to help people get what they want. Yep. So ask questions about that. Like, you started. So anyway, I was like, so when I say sell, it's to help people get what they want. I hate manipulative, pushy sales. It's not about you winning. It's getting them what they want. So if I look at what this kickboxing person wants, and their acute search trigger, I'm going to make up a narrative. Okay. You're a mom of 3. You're in your 40s. You just went out with your friends on the first night off that you had from watching the kids because your husband watched them. There was a picture taken and they put it on social media and you saw it.
You didn't like the way you looked.
Your heart sank. You said, how did I let myself get this way? But I know that I've tried it all. Running, boring, not for me. I'm too old. My knees hurt. I'm not in shape. I hate that my belly jiggles and my breasts bounce around. It's not for me. Weightlifting is boring. I don't want to get bulky, right? Which, by the way, isn't a real thing, but that's what people say. You know, I've tried the diets. I don't have the discipline. I want to have fun, but I want to do it with other women where I feel built up. Where am I going to turn, right? That's the moment. And then I can make all of my content, and let's say this is the camera, right? And I'm going to say something like, everything you tried isn't working. You hate the way you look and it's time for a change. But the only thing that's holding you back is the fact that you're afraid to jump into a new realm. You don't want to be judged. What you did in the past didn't work. You don't feel as young as you did. But imagine if you could be in an environment that built you up, was fun, and burned more calories than swimming a mile in 10 minutes. I can't wait to share the joy of kickboxing with you. The latest, most enjoyable, high exhilarating activity. While we think of it like dancing on your feet with your friends, swinging your hips, you're going to get the abs shredded. And the next time you see a picture of yourself on social media, you're going to say, damn, I love the way I look. Right. So that would be an example of like a video to put out.
That's fantastic.
So, and I've never sold
And you don't care if it doesn't matter what medium they put it anywhere. Make it for yourself, send an email, doesn't matter.
So great question. This goes into what I call platform matching.
Yep.
If I am,
and I want to keep you on your 7 too. So I want to keep you on your listing 7 things, right?
Oh, we can get into all 8. I got to pause. Yeah. So this.
No, first do the platform thing.
I will. I'm just scrolling back up so I have all that in one place because I want to go through them in order. And when I go off my memory, I do them in the wrong order. Platform matching. Example. If you're shooting, and this is an elementary mistake that many people make. If I'm filming a video for Instagram or TikTok, I shoot it vertically.
Yep.
If I'm shooting a long form video,
YouTube
YouTube goes this way.
Yep.
If I am shooting a video, like for me, I pulled, thanks to Evan Carmichael, he actually audited my YouTube channel. I don't do shorts. They don't fit my model.
They're bad for my model too.
And if you, again, market to message match, you have to know the platforms. My community is expensive to join. And someone's not going to spend $10,000 plus because they watched a 30-second video. So long form is what I do. And long form provides more learning moments. If I'm in financial education, I'm not going to do little snippets. I'm not going to watch a 30-second video and be like, here, I'm going to trust you with every penny in my name. I'm going to spend hours with you.
Yep.
So knowing where to deliver your message for your audience. For kickboxing gym, shorts would be great because usually the people that are unhappy with how they look are doom scrolling on Facebook. So that's where your audience might hang out, So like, cool, you could do
people
a short.
in pain.
Yeah, that's like a good place to do it. If you're providing a higher level of education or consultative services or education services or training, you need to get on YouTube or a podcast. So match the platform, but the same elements can all be molded in. And that's what we'll get into this. So I'm going to run through these 8 laws.
These are great.
Of marketing. I shared them with you before, but number 1, again, we hit was the law of magnetism, that your marketing needs to repel the wrong people just as much as it attracts. Just like think 2 sides. I got a wonky pinky there. The mountain bike accident. Two same sides of a magnet are going to push each other. You flip it around, they pull. Okay. Next one's the law of desire. You can't create desire. You got to tap into what people want, and you got to give them answers to now questions. One little anecdote for those that are in a business, home services that give people an estimate. The number one thing someone wants to know is how much is it going to cost? No one wants to set up a consultation. Okay. That doesn't appeal to my desire. But if I could do an assessment or like a free financial roadmap or the free financial roadmap to freedom, I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I want. Or a free tax strategy. That's more exciting.
So you're saying
than a free
instead of
consult.
let me give you a consultation, let me go down and assess it.
Give them an answer to now questions.
Okay.
So if I'm a roofer, get an instant estimate, and I'm going to use a tool that can do it because it's going to convert better than the next guy that wants an appointment. If I'm a financial advisor, and instead of a free consultation, which means I'm going to sell you a bunch of crap and talk at you, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to give you a financial freedom roadmap.
Yes.
Right. If I'm a CPA, I'm going to do a free tax strategy session, something along those lines. Okay. So that's your law of desire.
Like an influence audit.
Yeah.
That
And
kind of thing,
same thing with your headlines. Like I just was writing some headlines this morning. I nerd out. So it was like what I was doing at 5 this morning when I was up. But a lot of roofers, if you go on like roofing as an example, almost all roofers, their headline says #1 roofer in so-and-so area. I was like, really? There's like 100 #1 roofers in this town.
It's 5 people.
Right.
In town.
So, but what a homeowner wants is fast, friendly, and affordable service. So imagine a headline that said fastest, friendly, and most affordable roofer with automated text updates every step of the way, like DoorDash for roofing.
That's great.
Right. I'd be like, that's the guy I want. Fast, friendly, affordable. And then it was like, get an instant estimate. And then their biggest concern is price. So like 0% financing available, right? Or 0% same as cash for 12 months or low affordable monthly payments. Now I've scratched every itch. They don't even need to scroll. It's like, oh, you offer me fast. I want it now. It's friendly. I don't want it to be pushy.
0 interest financing.
Yeah. 0 interest financing. Okay. So that's law of desire.
That's really good.
Now we got the law of action. So people will delay action as long as possible. It's a human phenomenon, especially if you sell boring shit like the stuff I do. Roofing is the single most boring thing in the entire world that no one wants to spend their money on. If you sell, even like I've been working with some folks in the HVAC space. No one wants to replace their furnace. No one's like, oh, I can't wait to replace my furnace today. And no one is like, I need to go get coaching for whatever. Like it's not
People don't
exciting.
wake up in the morning and want to work with me.
Like I would love to like going to buy a car. Yeah, that's sexy. But my real specialty, my sweet spot is selling unsexy things. So anyway, law of action. People want to delay as long as humanly possible. And we need to give them a reason to act now. And I'll give you a couple of them. One is this, people are like, if they're marketing nerds, urgency, scarcity, that is a law of action, but it may not be the answer for you. So if you were going to replace your roof, which I know you're in the middle of building a house, but if you're going to replace your roof, here'd be my law of action. I would use both fear and greed, and I'd combine them. By the way, when I say greed, that's humans' innate desire to win and to get something. It's not bad. We're all greedy people. It's okay. So I'd say, hey, Michael, I understand. If you're like most people, you're going to say, I don't want to replace my roof because I want to get every taste of life I can out of this thing. Like no one is excited about replacing the tires on their car. So you run them till they're the very last minute, right?
Yep.
When are you going to replace your brakes?
Pop.
As late as I can. And that makes sense. But the reality is that since 2020, the price of roofing has doubled. And what that's done, you can see here, there's proof. These are the rate increase notices we get from our supplier. They're between 4 and 12% per quarter. The price of roofing will double. So what I'm telling you, Michael, is if you wait to replace your roof, which is smart, I get it. Most homeowners do. Chances are you're going to call me back and say, this guy, Adam, did a great job. He showed me everything. I feel really informed. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm sorry, Michael, that estimate that I shared with you, it's actually $7,000 more now. And you're like, well, what the hell? Like, well, if you wait, that's just a year. So is it worth it to you to spend $7,000 more on your roof to get an extra year out of it? Okay. So that'd be a law of action. It's like,
You're forcing them to go.
But it's not even forcing. I'm giving you the proper education. Because if I didn't, and you call me, like, you're an asshole.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I knew this was coming. It's not fair for me not to tell you. It could be limited time offers, bundles, financing options. Buy today and you'll get a one-on-one session or whatever. So it's giving them a reason to act.
It's a reason to go now. And if you don't give people a reason to act now, and I've done that before. I've offered things before and I forgot that because, they're good people. They'll just do the right thing.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever found that you don't need to do it is when somebody is already deeply educated on what it is that you're doing and they do it all the time.
Yes.
For instance, you do not need to do the law of action for a guy that is a fix and flip guy that is on his 40th roof that he's fixing for these projects. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that guy has
that's
already done
sales
20,
and not marketing.
That guy's done 25 this year. What I'm getting at is, so like to market or to sell, but even in sales, we've got to give a reason to do it now because we are procrastination creatures. We don't want to die. We don't want to, we put off life.
But even on that guy, if it's true, we're incredibly busy. This is our busiest time of year. You're a valuable client to me. I wanted to give you first right of refusal because I want to get you in the books first. I can't hold a spot because I've got other people to serve.
Yes.
And that's a legit reason.
100% all of us can say
And
that.
again, many people don't communicate that. All right.
Great.
So we got that one. Law proof. Why should someone believe you? Now, proof can come in a variety of forms.
And for people that are keeping track of the numbers, what numbers law?
Oh, yeah. We're on 5.
Got it.
Thank you. Proof is a reason for someone to believe you. This can be done through accreditation or endorsements. Like in our community, we provide the seal, the RSRA seal. If you're BBB accredited or Google verified or whatever, so there's accreditation. The next is testimonials, what people say about you. The next is awards that you've won, but let's just focus on testimonials. I just gave feedback to one of our members. They made a leave behind brochure, and they're like, look, we're 4.8 stars on Google. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, that doesn't mean anything. I don't care. Like, you could say 4.8 stars, but what I care is the testimonial. Because
you care about that guy. There's a guy on Google that's one of them that's also from Colorado that used to live in Illinois, that lived near Wisconsin, that actually owned a detail business and it worked for him.
Right? It's them telling the story. So trying to say, like, I could go out and say, I have 87,000 subs. I'm the most followed. Cool. But you're still not going to trust me. But when I say, because we actually had it, we have what's called the wall of proof. There is hundreds of unsolicited testimonials of people sharing their success.
That's great.
Unsolicited. Don't ask for them. Now, when someone reads that, I'm like, I could tell you I'm the best, but their story is going to convince you. Okay. So grabbing a testimonial. So the story, instead of 4.8, I said, grab 3. And I want to see the one that says, Andy and his team went above and beyond. I couldn't believe that they offered to put my dog in a kennel so he wouldn't be disturbed by the noise of the nail guns. They cleaned up after the job. I wish I called Andy for my last roof because the other roofer was a nightmare. If I read that, what's better? Vote. That or 4.8 stars.
You know how I sold my roofer to everybody? The one guy I used a while ago, and he's not doing this project, but he does the other type of roofing. He doesn't do the new homes. I told everybody, I sold 5 of his roofs, and the next week he loved me.
Yeah.
I literally sold, like, everyone I knew needed a roof. I made him go get one. And I said, this guy's so good. He had a magnet on a pole, and he used it in my pool. So all the nails that fell in the pool, he was more concerned with my dog and my kids stepping on something. He went out of his way. And he went out of his way to show me that. He had this long stick with a magnet, and he put it into my pool. And I had a diving board in this pool at one point. He went 10 feet down, and he got nails out of the pool.
Which is great. You know what's funny? I teach our roofers that's a magnet sweep, and every roofer uses them, but no one talks about it.
You need to show people you're doing it. Wear an orange freaking suit.
I know.
Let people see you and have a hazmat suit on.
There's some clever ways. Again, this goes back to we're going to go in one small rabbit hole, and then I promise we'll pick up where we left off. But when I just said that to you, you sold that to everybody.
Yes.
Every roofer does that. And the reason they're sweeping the pools, they're smart enough to know that replacing a pool filter when a nail gets sucked in is very expensive.
Yes.
So it's part of their process.
And a kid going to the hospital
Yeah.
is end of your business.
Yeah, all of that. I had a story about, I had a lot of stories from my roofing days. Anyway, Joseph Sugarman had a record-breaking sales letter for smoke detector, which is like a commodity item. And all smoke detectors are, did I share this on the, with your group? So all smoke detectors, I shouldn't say all, 90% are engineered the same way with a chamber with what's called americium. And this is a chemical that allows electrical conductivity. So a smoke detector works that when there's clean air, the electrical signal flows through the chamber of americium. Well, what happens is when heavy smoke particles go up in there, it interrupts the electrical flow, which is what triggers the alarm. Okay. All smoke detectors are the same. Joseph Sugarman gets a hold of a smoke detector, launches it, calls it the new sensitive sensing system that sounds a new alarm. All they did was make a new sound. He describes americium and how it works and called it a sensitive sensing system, and it outsold every smoke detector. Record-breaking sales. And the insight from that is whatever you do that is mundane and seems normal,
Make it sexy.
not even make it sexy. No one knows about it if you don't talk about it. So all of your competitors that are using the freaking nail magnets, sweepers, no one talks about it. But when you say, we care so much about your home, we're going to go back and forth through your entire property 3 times. And I'm so convinced that we're going to clean up. Great. I learned this from one of our members. I'm going to give you $1 for every single nail you find, which by the way is awesome because then they run around and pick them up. And that way you have, your liability reduces because they're hunting for them. And they show up with a bag of 10, you give them a $10 bill.
That's fantastic.
They're so again, but no one knows. Same thing. Like there's a product called ice and water shield that goes on a roof. Shingled roof. I know here in Arizona, you don't have as many shingled roofs, but the rest of the US predominantly is asphalt shingles. And ice and water shield is building code. No one talks about it. And I have this elaborate demonstration and talk about how it works. And it's this magic self-healing membrane because it is. It's pretty wild. You shoot a nail through it and it literally self-seals. No one talks about it. So I have a demonstration. I show a Coke can and I'm like, the other competitors do this. You put a nail in, water comes out. I'm like, what we use is this. You put a nail in it in a water bottle and nothing happens. You're like, this is a magic self-healing membrane. We're basically giving you 2 roofs. 2 roofs everywhere it matters most. On the valleys where water's coming in,
Wow.
on the eaves. And then the homeowner's like, you do that? And they're blown away. But the next guy goes, well, everybody does that. It's like, well,
You better make a big deal about it.
no one said you didn't talk about it.
Showmanship.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's that. All right. Number 8, law of fear. We talked about this a little bit. People are scared of what will happen if they take action and if they don't. As an example, many people right now in the era we live are afraid to give their contact information. It's like, oh, I'm freaking bombarded. Like I went truck shopping. I'm getting calls from like 12 dealerships. I made the dumbest mistake.
You put it online in that one thing.
Dude, one thing. And it was a YouTube video and I thought
no.
it was the one dealer.
Yeah,
And he's like, yo, if you're shopping for the thing.
You want a lead source.
Man, and it's like, I'm getting bombarded by these. I'm like, ugh. So imagine if right beneath your form, you said, we respect your privacy and we won't bombard you. And that's it.
That's great.
All of a sudden, you've removed their fear of what will happen if they do take action. So you have to, and then again, at the same time, what happens if you don't? So we have to balance both of these elements. And then our final one, final 2, law of attention. This one is, and I kid you not, this one concept, the law of attention, has easily made me 7 figures in profit in the last couple of years. Just this one law. It's called the law of attention. So what many people do with their marketing, this cracks me up, is they'll have a form on their website, right? Fill out this form to get in touch.
Your free newsletter or something.
It could be a newsletter. It could even be a lead like,
Yep.
Hey, Michael, I want to talk to your team.
Yep.
And then I fill it out. And then what's the page say? The next page.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll give you a buzz. Okay. Attention is the most valuable thing in our world right now. And someone was just spending time with you and they filled out a form and then you said, thanks, we'll get in touch. That page is the most valuable page that everyone neglects because they think it's an after page.
They just made a big decision.
Uh-huh.
They gave you their name and phone
no
number.
one's taught them this. So on that page, we advance the sale. So everything we know, if we have their attention, how do we advance the sale? If we have their attention, how do we advance the sale? I'm going to say it again because it's that important. If we have the attention, how do you advance the sale? So on that page, you can say, you can say, fast track your service, call now. The law of consistency. They already went through it. They want it. They could call,
Let them call.
right? The next thing could be, if it's a product, and I did this, this was making me like $250,000 a year without picking up the phone. I had a one-time offer. Thank you so much for your order. There's no selling info products. Before you leave, check this out. You will not see this anywhere else. Here's the great magic you'll get. Click here. We'll add it to your order. It was another $250,000 in sales per year of literally free money. Like, all I did was put it in front of them. And if I didn't have that, it'd be gone.
But they already just made a really nice decision. They're proud of themselves.
I know, right? And then even down to, let's say I'm going to hire an accountant and I need to have the consult. Well, great. You have them there. I have a video playlist that says, thank you so much. Don't leave yet. Okay. Watch these videos. You're going to learn everything you need to know about hiring a tax consultant. And then I have a video playlist, which I have a whole course built called Videos That Sell, how to get people ready to buy before they even show up, how to frame the videos and open the videos. But once you have their attention, you're just educating them on what to buy. And when you ask yourself that question, what is it that someone would need to know in order to say yes today? Write that one down. What is it that someone would need to know to say yes today? And then there's a whole video series that you just give to someone, and every appointment reminder, again, the law of attention, instead of your appointment's coming up, I'm going to advance the sale. Hey, your appointment's coming up tomorrow, Michael. Watch these videos to learn everything you need to know about hiring a tax attorney.
It's great.
Okay. Watch these videos to learn everything you need to know about how our gym works. Read whatever it is. Okay. So that's the law of attention. And then the final one is the law of attrition.
And you have this all written down somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
The law of attrition is when we invest money in the stock market, there's exponential growth, right? Compounding growth. I know it's not exponential, but I guess it kind of is over time. With marketing, it's the law of attrition is exponential loss. So I had someone post in our community and he says, Adam, I just got an offer for marketing from someone and it's cheap, but it sounds amazing. For just $1,000 a month, they can put me on a weather app because roofing is often driven by weather. And they said we get 150,000 impressions a month. Should I do it? Maybe it was $1,500. Which is not a lot of money. I mean, I guess it all depends on where you're at in business, right? But it's not a tremendous spend. I said, let's just talk about the law of attrition. They'll have 150,000 impressions. That's impressions. How many of those are unique?
Not many.
Not many, because most people check the weather more than once in a week.
Yeah.
For simple math, we'll call it 75,000. Now we're cutting half, right? 150 to 75,000, so in half.
How many are in your neighborhood?
Okay. Next, of the 75,000 that are unique, how many own a house?
25,000.
Okay. Of that 25,000, how many are in your service area?
10,000.
10,000. Of the 10,000 that are in your service area, how many need to buy a roof?
12.
Of the 12, a click-through rate on a display ad is 0.5%. How many will click?
None with that.
Okay. Let's just call it 2.
Okay.
They're then going to see
0.5 of 12. I mean, have a bigger number for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just call it 2 for fun. Then they have to go to your website, which should be a landing page or a squeeze page, which means there's 2 options: fill out the form or get off the page. Pro tip, never run traffic to a website because it won't convert nearly as high. I lost 30% of my sales in a month by literally reverting from my best practices because I thought,
a main website.
Yeah, that I thought I'll be more valuable. Sales dropped by 30%. Anyway, then they have to go through the form. So whatever your conversion rate is on that landing page, which let's say you're doing great and it's at 40%. So now you got 1 lead. From that lead, how many converted into an appointment? Which again goes back to your set rate. And if you're only setting 50%, that will be a fast way to flush money down the drain, but it sounds great because you got in front of 150,000 people. And that's the law of attrition.
And that is the law of how you be sold by an agency or a
most
group of people.
I don't know one
most
person.
Most people get suckered. Sucker's the wrong word. Our desire to want to find the one way that's different than all of this is we hear those things like, oh, we got 1 million. It's like, it's a magazine. Buy the back page of a magazine. We got 1 million. How many of those subscribers are free? How many of them throw the magazine away? How many of them watch it? Coupon mailer. You know what I do when I get the coupon mailer? I rip it in half and I throw it away.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So the law of attrition is that in every step,
there's loss.
There's exponential loss all the way through the funnel
So we got to pay attention to the last number.
Yes. And I'll show you a visual on the camera for this. By the way, I wasn't planning. This is great. My secret sauce. I wasn't actually planning on
And I'm going to want, as we're closing down, I want to get how they can get access to that too. Show to this camera.
So anyway, that's
that's
just
cool.
an example of the law of exponential loss.
That's great.
So at each step of that, you're losing a boatload of people. So your job in your marketing is to just think like a lazy person. And what I mean by that is most people think marketing is this grand idea that we need to put our message out to the world and then people will magically show up. But I said it's a math problem that's fueled by psychology. So when I have, again, if we link this all the way back to the beginning, this is perfect like wrap summary here. Most people don't have a gas gauge. So they're getting in the car. They don't know how long they're going to run. And the marketing is the fuel for your business. The business is your car. You could have the highest performance car in the world, but without fuel, you are nothing. Okay. And I mean that. It's not a diss. It's just you're nothing. No one knows about you. So, and that if you believe that you have the best product or service in the world, which you should, it is your moral and ethical responsibility to get that message out so you can serve the people you're meant to serve. And that's a big mindset shift for people. Marketing's dirty and sleazy. No, it's not. If you think you're the best, you're the one that's being selfish by not serving more people.
Truth.
So you need to learn how to get your message out. So you have to first get control of your metrics, baseline numbers. I just shared that. Rewind, go back. You can look at it. And then from there, look at each step and say, my job is to think like a lazy person. If I know that I get a bunch of leads, but I don't convert them into an appointment, all you need to do is fix your set rate.
Yep.
And instantly you just got 80% more leads.
Start at the beginning, correct?
Start at the beginning.
Yep.
And then from there, I know my set rate. Okay, great. Well, I already have that juice to squeeze. Let's just squeeze more. Then from there, I can go and repeat that on each step of that process in this funnel. So it's like, how many people are actually going through my website? I can look at the data and say 12% of people, which some people are going to be in the single digits, and that's there's a time when single digits might make sense. My sales letter, which is the highest converting page I've ever written for us, is converting at a single digit %. But I know why, because my audience, only 1 in 7 of my audience is even a viable prospect.
Because you're getting rid of the ones you shouldn't.
Correct. So I'm doing a tremendous amount of filtering. So if I knew like all of my, because it goes back to traffic source. So if my traffic source was hyper focused, meanwhile, like I have an AI clone and that offer is converting at near 60% of people. Like if I'm like, hey, you want to work with my AI clone, it's 60% opt-in. My free offer converts at around 50%. My other one for the free training center. Seasonally, we'll have some fluctuations, and we've peaked even higher. So the point is like, if I can look at that and just analyze, is my offer placed in the right place? Is my button placed in the right place? Do I have the elements of a high converting page? And I just get more. Again, you're not spending anymore. You're not doing more work. Like what we just did with increasing your set rate, that's a 30-minute to 1 hour task. Review, secret shopper, make fixes. Look at your landing page. How would I entice someone as an exchange of value?
Would you recommend changing multiple things at once or one thing at a time?
Depends on how crappy it is. If it's really crappy, overhaul the whole thing. Okay. If it's not, one thing at a time. Because I have made the
So if it's already converting a little, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
If it's not converting at all,
correct.
Like delete.
Yeah. The art of a split test. Yeah. If you have a well-oiled machine or you're spending a lot on marketing already, you do not go overhaul everything. You will break what's already working. So you make fractional changes and measure the results.
It's huge.
And then to end on that, when you do this, so many people that are new in marketing, like I'll never forget, we just did an event and I gave everyone this idea. I'm a big fan of using humor. So I'll send GIFs out. Like, are you ghosting me with an animated GIF? And it's like the most powerful text message you can send to someone in your pipeline. Do that right now. Are you ghosting me? ? Laughy emoji with an animated ghost GIF. Nothing else. You're going to have a desire to be like, I'm just playing around, following up. None of that. Are you ghosting me? ? Laughy emoji with a GIF. You will get more responses. Statistically, it's the number one in our automation as well. But anyway, this guy was nervous to do it. So he's like, so I sent it to 25 people. I'm like, what the hell are you going to learn from 25 people? So you have to make sure you're getting a proper sample size.
Got it.
Just think in thousands. If I got in front, and if you only have an email list of 100, like that's okay. Work with what you got. Yep. But you need like enough data to draw a conclusion. Because even I track all of our marketing, all of our metrics every single week. Even my customer acquisition cost tripled last week. Okay. So if I saw that number, I'd freak out. But I know that's in direct relationship. We have a multi-day sales cycle. So a lot of these sales will come in later. We brought in a few members today. So that levels out. But people will look at this one snapshot in time and be like, I need to change it all. So no, settle out. Make sure, keep a daily or a weekly pulse but adjust accordingly based on a full window of data. And even then, like when I first released my AI clone, we had our landing page converted like crap. And I was like, why is this crap? Well, we had to get our traffic dialed in a little bit.
And it was too small of a list to start with.
Yeah. And then once we got it all dialed and optimized, the thing is converting at near 60%.
So let me put it like this. So the simplest, this is, if I could go on to this for days, I'm gonna sum this whole thing up.
Mm-hmm.
The same issue the sales guy has with wanting to protect the one person is the same thing we do. We want to protect our funnel and not be honest about it. If we're not getting the results we want, we've got to look at and start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to, you mentioned this on our GPS that you talked about this. What is it that you're doing now that you're saying you can't hire you?
Yeah.
But you're helping people.
Yeah.
What does that look like? As we're closing down right now, people are like, okay, I love what he's saying, but there's a lot here. And you're going to want to watch this one multiple times. How do people get a hold of you? What do we do? How do we make that work? Because you offered something in our GPS community. They reached out to you. Like, what does that look like for someone to learn more from you? Because I like learning from you because you're actually doing it. You're not an agency.
I'm not an agency. And I'll tell you this, I am working on bringing this offer to life, and I don't have something I can offer to people now. And if you do want to hire me, I will happily talk with you. I'm just telling you, it's going to be very expensive, and that's okay, because the people that I like, one of the folks I'm working with in doing some beta for our community, spending $35,000 a month on ads.
Yep.
If he spent 20 grand with me, I'm going to save him that in 30 days less, and then making more money. But what I'm looking at doing is packaging all this together. This is called my marketing control system. The goal is to get you to marketing control freedom. I'll be walking folks through setting up their marketing control dashboard, a proper weekly meeting so you can just keep a pulse on this. Getting all the data together it overwhelms the crap out of people, but it is not difficult once you just know where to look. So I'll point just where you need to look. What I would recommend you do, this is what I'm going to recommend you do, and then I'll get into how to get in touch with me. Set up a weekly meeting, marketing control meeting, get your dashboard in place, okay? Audit your current marketing spend, and anything that's not producing leads that can't be tracked, cut it instantly.
Got it.
Double down on that which is working, because all of a sudden you're going to free up a bunch of money. I promise you, if you're spending money, you're going to free up a bunch, and then you're going to put something into what's working and what's trackable.
Got it.
All right. Number 3, you want to audit your landing pages, your website, and your ads, and your core funnel. And that's how you're running people through your, I'm interested to running them through. The best way to do it is to secret shop or your own company. So if you're interested, email Adam at rsra.org. R as in Richard, S as in Sam, R as in Richard, A as in Anthony.
What happens when they email you?
Well, when they email me, I'm going to respond.
A real person?
Well, yeah. I will respond, or Melissa will respond. Okay. And if you're really, really, really serious about this and you want to go like gangbusters on your marketing, I'll help you kick ass on it, and we'll talk through what that looks like. At some point, this may turn into a product. At this moment, I'm doing this with my community.
I'm pushing you to do it. You know that,
no,
right?
I know, and
That's
I
why
appreciate
we did
it.
Yeah.
Well, so this is the entire workbop that is going to print today.
Oh wow!
And this
Don't put that on the camera. Don't put that, because wait till they buy that.
Well, I just showed a whole bunch of it now, but it's only a snippet of it. But anyway, so this is all going to this event. We posted it inside our community, 40-person max, and I was getting emails today with people that are pissed because they didn't get in. And it's already full. So I'm bringing this to life in our community, and this is my love. This is my passion. And I will likely find a way to do this to the greater world.
I see it happening.
Because, it's already happening, and I've got some really high level conversations going with some other cool folks, but, I love it. I love helping people put their message to the world, because there's so many wonderful entrepreneurs who are amazing at what they do. They're gifted, they're talented. The world needs to have their zone of genius. And the only thing that's holding them back is they don't have clients, or they don't have customers. And the only reason for that is they've relied on other people who've made them false promises, or they're intimidated, or they don't know how, or they tried and failed.
So they got to figure it out themselves.
Yeah. And the people that are going to hire me are the ones that just wasted. Like, I had one client spend $600,000 last year and get nothing. And he's like, I'm coming to that event. I was like, you probably should. So those are the folks that are probably going to be the best fits. People that have tried and failed, or just spent a boatload of money, just got burned by the last agency that promised.
And they want to learn how to do it themselves once and for all.
My goal is to help people become the GC. I should have opened with this. The GC of their marketing, the general contractor. You don't need to know what buttons to click. I have never once logged into Facebook's ad manager. I don't know pay-per-click. I teach timeless strategies for people to own their marketing and get control of it. And when you do, you get to sniff out the BS that the agency is telling you. You can call the shots. You know how to audit the copy, what goes into good copy, what should be on a page. I just built a GPT this morning. Dude, I built a GPT to write a landing page on a 12-step formula I wrote, and I gave everyone a prompt. And you literally fill in your company name, your offer, in the area that you serve, and it writes you a landing page. And the copy was freaking killer. And I was like, that's done. And the agency that you're working with is going to give you garbage and be like, number one roofer here. So that's the type of stuff that I'm just super jazzed up about. And there's much more of this stuff to come.
Well, I'm excited to share that with the world, brother. I'm going to push you to get this thing out. I'm excited to do an event with you.
Thank you for having me.
My man,
here.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Adam. All right, listen, let me take this opportunity right now. Congratulate you for living a life that screams average sucks. How do I know that? You're listening to this right now, and I can guarantee you're a person that wants more in life. So one, congratulations, and two, I bet you're looking for a shortcut. How do I get there quicker? How do I make this stick more? And since 2008, the fastest way that we've showed people how to become a person that lives a life that screams average sucks, and on top of that, become a person of influence and get what they want in this world, is our Core Live event. We've got one coming up very soon. The website is simple, michaelbernoff.com/Core Live. All the information, all the videos, and everything is there to find out more. And also an incredible early bird special to give you a big old discount. Again, michaelbernoff.com/Core Live, and I'm excited to see you there.